Are you ready to take your sports fandom to the next level? With the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you're always in the game. Bet on all your favorite sports: NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, college football, basketball, soccer, golf, MMA, UFC, boxing, tennis, and even niche markets like Aussie rules and lacrosse. If it's sports, FanDuel's got it covered with endless betting options, from money lines to same-game parlays. Those are my favorite. Funding your account is a breeze. Deposit instantly with over 10 secure methods like PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, Visa, MasterCard, or even cash at retail locations. No matter where you are, you can add funds in seconds with a low $10 minimum. And when you win big, cash out fast. Get your winnings via PayPal or Venmo in as little as 24 hours or instantly at a FanDuel retail sportsbook. No fees from FanDuel, just pure convenience. And it's available in over 20 states like Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, and more. The FanDuel app brings the action to your pocket. Download now. FanDuel Sportsbook, where winners play. All right. Next is Alex from North Jersey. That's near New York. The subject is Russo Vince McMahon friend relationship. Hi, K100 crew. With the recent fallout involving Russo, I'm wondering if you could play armchair psychologist for a minute. Konnan Disco I've known for 30 years, and Joe, you got to know him too. Isn't it strange that Russo got along so well with Vince McMahon during the Attitude Era, even calling him a father figure and saying Vince once told him that he loved him? Russo thought it was inauthentic, but maybe McMahon just struggled with emotional expression. I know I'm asking for speculation, none of you were there, but you've all heard enough and have a good enough sense of McMahon's personality to take an educated guess. How do you think the dynamic worked as well as it did for the time Russo was head of creative? On the surface, they seem like total opposites. Also, Disco, since Russo has called you one of his best friends, does any of these hit you personally, or is it just a professional disagreement? Thanks. No, it does not hit me personally, because I said in a previous email, Vince will get over it and we'll be friends again. Okay? Because this always happens with him. He's a drama queen. I think he even knows that. And Terry Taylor even said this. Okay? Is with the exception of Shawn Michaels. Okay? He's never seen people talk to Vince McMahon like Vince Russo does. Like Vince was very blunt with him and would because Vince was always surrounded by. Terry Taylor said Russo would look right in Vince McMahon's face. Vince would say, "I know what these people want," and it's like, really, Vince? He goes, "How would you know what these people want?" He goes, "What's the price for a gallon of milk? How much does a loaf of bread cost?"
Right.
Like Vince would talk like that to like the Vince McMahon, to be very blunt with him. And that's probably why they got along, because if Vince was writing good TV, so he had like that clout to argue against Vince like that, because they were doing well in the ratings. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I found interesting, that Russo and Shawn Michaels are like two people that like nobody talked to Vince like they did, So what do you guys, any comment on that, Joe?
Well, that's probably what it is. I mean, and like the emailer said, you guys have a better sense than I do. I just read about him and stuff, but from like Jericho's book, he was very clear, like Vince is going to eventually test you and you got to come back at him, and I think from what you said, Russo did. And his ideas at the time made sense and worked. He was perfect for the timing, saying, listen, this is hokey and the whole world's changing attitude wise. And The Sopranos is the big show now. And, look at this, look at that, look at how music is. We got to translate that into wrestling. And it made sense.
Back then during the Attitude Era, Joe, Vince was bought into Joe Springer and stuff, and Morton Downey Jr. were hot things. Like, right, there was like a lot of crazy TV. Yeah. Like, people throw chairs. Like, that was the Attitude Era was emblematic of things that were going on. Like the '90s were freaking wild.
Yeah.
Like there were high ratings on TV. Michael Jordan, the era. There was just tons of going on. It was a live time, and you had to be competitive in this and that. And that's what they did. You had to be edgy. In that climate, you were going to get run over. And that's what happened. Then all of a sudden, the advertisers started pulling back after 3 or 4 years. Oh, oh my God, we can't do this. We can't do that. Oh my God, so it's like whatever. But if the advertisers had just fed into that, just kept on like with that type of television, it'd be interesting to see what would have happened to wrestling over the next 10 years. But the fact you had to put the gloves on and a dog collar on these guys is just kind of weird.
Godfather became
the
good father.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just an edgy time, Girls Gone Wild and, like you were saying, Morton Downey and the
Bikini, Hawaiian Tropic was hot. Bikini contests, objectifying women was a high, right? Yeah,
yeah,
right.
Let's look at the generational differences, because I saw a documentary about this the other day. Think about the original Woodstock, and then think about what happened with my stupid generation at Woodstock '99. We burned the place down. There was a huge mess there, and that generation was real rebellious and angsty. Do you think, I'm going to ask this, do you guys think that if Vince didn't leave for WCW, that he eventually would have been fired? Or do you think he eventually would have left maybe a year or two down the road?
No, he couldn't get fired.
He wouldn't have gotten fired.
He didn't have anything to get fired for. He just you couldn't fire him for, they hired him to write TV. He didn't do anything for cause that would get him fired. He had a contract. They would have had to buy him out.
Right.
They would have had to pay him and, just whatever. So.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.